For this project I want to draw some pumpkins, and you may be able to tell I have these on a bench with some straw or hay. And even though I don't have faces on these pumpkins, I have drawn other versions of this that do have faces. And so after we draw the shape of the pumpkins, we'll probably put faces on them. But if you don't want the faces, well, that's okay. You don't have to put the faces on them. So this is just follow the leader, and anytime I do something that you want to do differently, well, please go ahead and do it differently, because you do not have to copy me exactly. That's not what art's all about. So if you have your own ideas, you can use those. Alright, I'm going to start by drawing those circles. This area of the paper, I'm going to put one here. It's about in the middle. That is across. Now it's a little bit below the center. And I'm going to make it pretty big. I practice it with my finger a few times. Kind of get the feel for that. That's going to be the top of the pumpkin, and then it's like a great big letter C. Now I'm going to put just a little curved line here and a little curved line here. Okay, then it's like the front of a letter D. So I'm just going to come around this way. I'm going to hook on. I think of that as a hook on point. And I'm just going to bring that line around like that. Now we need to put the stem in there, so I'm just going to go up here and put a slanted line. If it's got a little bit of a curve in it, that'll be fine. I'm going to slant back to the pumpkin, and as I do, I'll let these lines come a little bit closer together. To help with that 3D effect where it looks like the stem has been cut off, I just put that little curve line under there. Not hard to do, and if you can't get it, it's okay. You don't have to. A few little details there. And it helps the stem look a little more natural. Okay, I think we'll get all three pumpkins drawn, and then we'll decide about the faces. So I'm going to draw these pumpkins on a bench. I need to get one of those lines in here. I'll show you. We need to get a line coming in here like this. And so I'm going to go down below the pumpkin a little bit. And you can turn your paper if you need to. Sometimes I turn my paper because it's easier to draw in that direction. And we just want a line that goes off the edge of the paper that way. If it's not perfectly straight, that's fine. It doesn't need to be. This is old rough lumber. And then I'm going to come off the edge of the paper this way, and that makes the bench. Part of it anyway. Now we've got some more to do, and we'll do that later, but we need to get the pumpkins on here first. Now I know right now it kind of looks like it's floating, but let's get these other pumpkins and then we can fix the bench. Alright, I'm going to take my finger again and kind of get familiar with what I'm going to be doing. Here's the top of the pumpkin, and the bottom's going to be down here. So here goes my big gigantic curved line like a letter C, with a little tiny curvy little piece there and there. And then here comes the front of a letter D type curve. And this pumpkin's not round, but hey, that's okay. Pumpkins aren't round. Now, this time, I'm going to go ahead and put a little curved line here. And then I'm going to curve it back like that. Now, if that's hard to understand, you could just put a straight line in there, flat. Just go like that. It's fine. I'm going to come this way until I hit the pumpkin. And then I'm going to do it again here. And I think these lines help this out a little bit. So I'm going to put a few just detail lines here. It's a little early for detail, but we're there. And it's not hard to do, so went ahead and did it. Okay, pumpkin number 3. Well, you know, we're moving this way, so I don't know what number it ought to be. Probably 1, 2, 3, whatever. The third one we're going to be drawing is over here. We started in the middle just so you kind of get the picture all centered up. So I want the top of my pumpkin to be about right here. Now, if you run out of room, this one may have to be a little smaller. That one's not perfectly centered. It's okay. I'm going to practice with my finger. I want this to be big. Big curved line. Little curves like that. Doesn't really matter how those look on. Just keeps it from being round like, I don't know, just like a saucer or plate. And then nice big round like the front of a letter D. And if your pumpkins bump each other, well, it'll be okay. It's art. It can be anything. So you can even make that happen if you want to. Here's the stem. Now, if you just need to make it a straight line to keep it simple, that's fine. I'm going to make mine curve like this. And that means I'll have to take out that little piece I drew at first. And I draw very lightly. I like to be able to erase a line when I need to. I know if I draw dark lines, I can't get them erased. So here we go with the next line. We're going to slant toward that pumpkin. And then I'm going to do it again. And you notice as I come down, these get closer together. Here are those few little detail lines once again that help helps that look more like a stem. Now those aren't perfect. And if yours aren't perfect either, then I have some really good news. They don't have to be perfect. It's art. You can make it anything you want. All right. I'm going to go up here and put, let's see. Let's use this one. I'm going to put this line across here that makes the seat part of the bench, or the flat. And it looks a little bit tricky. It might look a little bit tough, but it's really not hard to do. Follow me. Just go somewhere maybe in the middle of your pumpkin and just hook them together. Jump over, hook them together, jump over, and just run off the edge. And then it leaves us this little piece over here, so we're going to have to go back, jump, and there you go. Okay. Next, we need to get the back. Now, that's just going to be a line going across like that. Now, I've got some other detail in here, and we might get to that. I guess we will get to that. We'll see. So, I'm going to just put a point right there, and I'm going to run off the edge of the paper that way. And if I hit something, I'll just jump over it. I'll just stop and skip over it. But I'm in the clear there. I didn't hit anything. And if I go this way, now I like to turn my paper until I can draw comfortably. If I were working on an easel, which I do a lot, painting a portrait or an animal or something, I can't turn my picture around quite that easily. I can, but it takes more work. It's really nice to have a drawing where you can just turn it around and get comfortable. Okay, let's put the faces on. Here are faces. Where did you go? Got several of these printed out. Okay, here are the faces that I used on another drawing. One, as you can see, kind of favors a cat. That one may be surprised or shocked or scared or maybe something like that. And then traditional. Yeah, you see a lot of that. Okay, now one reason this stands out pretty well is because I went over these lines with a marker and darkened them in. And I'm not doing that to this one. I'm just drawing with the pencil, and then when I color, I'll perhaps go back and darken those lines in a little more with something and make those stand out also. But let's just get in here, and I'm going to draw this right in the middle. Here we go. I'm going to start with a dot, and it's a shape like a V. Okay. I'm going to move to here and put a line that curves like the very tip top of a rainbow, just a little bit, not great big. Now I am going to put stretched out rainbow shapes there. It's like a U flipped upside down in there. One more time on each side. I give my characters human-like characteristics very often. It just makes them more interesting to me. So you'll see me putting eyelashes and eyebrows on pumpkins. When it's supposed to be something like the face of a cat, then it would make sense. Alright, I'm going to put the mouth, and just notice what we're going to do. We're going to come down and we're going to curve back up toward the corner of the eye, but we're not going to go there. We're just going to stop when we get far enough up. Curve, curve, bend it, bend it, bend it, bend it. Don't go up to the corner. Just stop it and cut it off like that. We're going to do it again. I'm just going to come down, just trace over that same line, and I'm going to start bending it. Curve it, bend it until it starts up toward that eye, and then I'm just going to cut that off. That's probably enough, but sometimes I like to go back and put this little piece in. And oh yeah, let's not forget the whiskers. If we've got a cat, we need some whiskers. Now, art is just so fun for me because I'm not stuck with real things. I can do make-believe things. And that makes it a lot of fun. Now, sometimes I do real things, portraits, pictures of animals, or landscapes. All right, I'm going to... Now, if you want to do another cat face, you can, or you want to do one of these, you can. I'll help you with this in a minute. Right now, I'm going to do this one. It's kind of like, I don't know, shock or surprise. Here we go. I'm going to put a triangle in the middle. If yours is bigger or smaller, it'll probably be okay. 2 ovals, and I'm not real particular about if they're straight up and down or not. As a matter of fact, it's probably better if they're not. I know I'm going pretty fast, but let your eye tell you what to do. I'll stop in a minute and let you get caught up. This is not hard to do. And if you get behind, just move away from that part and you can go back to it later. You can always go back and fill in. Looks like this character needs a mouth. So here we go. I'm going to make it a long, stretched out oval mouth. There we go. Eyebrows. Yes, eyelashes. Maybe. I don't know. Let me try it. If you don't like it, don't put them. Yeah, I guess it's okay. It's up to you. Then you could put a few more lines like this. Because it's a pumpkin, they're not just really flat. Not like a saucer anyway. Alright, moving over here, and this is the most deformed pumpkin, but you know, pumpkins aren't always round. Matter of fact, they're almost never perfectly round. This is just the traditional pumpkin. So here's the triangle. Whoa! You would think after 54 years of drawing I wouldn't make mistakes, but I do. Lots of them. Not to worry, I just correct them. Alright, couple lines like this and triangles on top. We're just about finished with the main part of the drawing. Well, the main parts of the drawing. I'm going to go from here to here, which is pretty far across. Maybe put a little curve in it. And then I'm going to jump down because I want this mouth to be open. And I'm going to curve it up to there. Bring this down. I think I'm going to jump up here and get these two little pieces to the eyes right quick. And then for some teeth. I don't know, maybe just make them up. Yours can be anything you want it to be, or it could be like mine. A couple other details to show that it's not like a saucer. We could double thicken these eyebrows. And then I don't know, I just like the eyelashes. If you don't like them, just don't put them on there. It's art, you can make your own decisions. Now the rest of the detail is fairly simple. It's just mostly making this bench look like a bench. There is one more part that might be a little bit tough, and that's that big sunset. Now you don't have to do it. You can put a little sun up there, or maybe just a circle. I'm going to put a big sun. This is going to be the largest curvy C shape on the whole picture. I'm going to start it there and bring it to about here. I'm trying to fit that kind of in the middle so that it's not all to one side or the other. So I'm going to go very, very, very lightly. I don't even know if you can see that on the video yet. Maybe, maybe not. When I go over it the second time, you'll see it, because now that I've got sort of a guideline to go by, coming around and making that like that. Like a big C, if you put your paper this way. Now, if you didn't get that, and that's not perfect, it won't ruin it, really. I promise. It's still going to be a great picture. I like these little clouds. Ooh, I like these little flat clouds, too. Those are pretty cool for some reason, to me. Now, I've got a tree limb coming in on this one. I kind of like that, but then on the other hand, I don't know, it's going to make the sky hard to color, and we don't really need it. Now, let's leave that out. Or if you want to put it in, you can put it in. I'm going to put two lines here. These are parallel, that is. They go side by side, travel in the same direction. And I'm going to fit another couple of lines in over here. And then we're not going to see much detail on the flat part of the bench because it's just going to be hay. And really, I'm going to do a little bit of this with the pencil, but most of this is going to get covered up with when you use your darker crayons, like, well, brown, for example. It's important to not just use all brown. You need some yellow in there or apricot. Now, that's kind of a light peachy color. Apricot will look great. Now, from there, it is mostly coloring. I do plan to put a few of these in there. Let's just go ahead and do that. You don't have to when you color it. You can just run your strokes this direction. It'll kind of give the same effect. A little better if you put the lines really. Actually, a lot better. It takes a minute to do it, but it helps, at least I think, to make that look more like a wooden structure. It doesn't have to be perfect. And it's a good thing because this one isn't perfect. Wow. Some of those are thick, some of those are thin. I don't know. You can put more, you can put less. I think that's okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to put that tree in there later, but I'm going to do the sky first. I'm not going to mess with that. I want to show you something on the sky. We don't have to do anything down here. We can just color that black. On this one, I sort of did that anyway. I did put these lines that go down, and if you want to do that, it does help it a little bit look more like a wooden structure. First, we need to double this line, and we're just about out of time. For the drawing, that is. Now, we're not out of time altogether. We're just out of time for the drawing part because we need some time for coloring. And the creative thinking was whatever you did to change yours to make it different than mine. And if you made it exactly like mine, well, that's okay too, because you learn by copying. And then after you get good at drawing, you get some pretty decent drawing skills, then you can use those drawing skills to make up your own pictures. All right, a little more hay or straw in there. Some of it could even, go up on the pumpkin a little bit. And that'll look good when you get the colors on there. All right, really quickly on the sky, I'm going to use red, violet, and indigo. And I want to show you a neat little thing. It's going to make a purple sky, but we're not going to just start with purple. We're going to take two colors and make purple. This is indigo, which is a darker blue, and it is a little bit toward purple. It's not purple. And then I'm going to go back over that with red, violet. Now, you may notice that when I color, I go like this, and I don't color much at a time. And when I slide up the paper, I go very slowly and carefully because I don't want to leave white streaks. Now, right back over top of that, I'm going to cover that up, or blend this in rather. It really doesn't cover it up, it blends in with it. Now, I'll just do that for the whole sky. As a matter of fact, I've already done that on other pictures. So when you get it all colored in with blue and then you go back over it with that red violet, you're going to have a purple sky that is, in my opinion, just super. Looks really good, neat. Now, neat is important because it makes your picture pretty regardless. You could have a really horrible drawing, which I'm sure you don't, but if you did and you colored it neatly, hey, nobody would really know. Nobody would notice that the drawing's not so great. They would just be impressed by that neat coloring, and it would be pretty anyway. So if you color it neatly, it starts out pretty. It can only get better. All right, for the rest of the time, I'm going to color without any further conversation, maybe play a little music, and I sure hope that was fun.